Hello, and welcome to Fixation does a spoilercast of True Detective. If you don't know what True Detective is, it's a fabulous HBO detective show. It's only 8 hours long, so if you haven't seen it yet, just pause this, go watch it, come right back, and listen to us talk about it.
So how did you enjoy the opening?
I did. It's spoilers from now on, by the way.
Yeah.
The opening, like the opening montage, like the music stuff.
Right.
It kind of throws you out there, like right away, what you're going to be seeing.
Yeah, it does.
A lot of boobs.
It opens your mind up to some potential spoilers even right off the bat, but it gets your curiosity flowing.
Yes. Very interesting opening. I really liked it. Started really liking the song by the end of the show, but very good.
I actually kind of regret doing playing through it how I did because I wanted to get as many episodes in as I could for the little bit of time I had, that little window. So I actually fast forwarded through the opening.
Oh, that's not good.
Through the episode 3, maybe even the 4th, but.
Okay.
So I haven't really been able to enjoy that or soak that in as much as I should have. But
like from episode 3 and 4 on, you were skipping it?
Yeah, 3 and 4. Well, 3 and 4 on is when I was actually listening to it.
Okay.
So
I see. Well, as an anime fan, I always watch the opening songs and stuff. So, I have to say, Matthew McConaughey was a very good pick for the role of Rust.
I think so too.
Might even be his best role ever.
And I think because he has, for his role in the Dallas Buyers Club, I think he's really jumped out there, out of his own skin even, as an actor.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I mean, he always, we had talked about this a little bit before, even with the Dallas Buyers Club, he is, as an actor, has always kind of played that, young hunk that dates the gorgeous women for whatever reason. You know what I mean? That's always the role he plays. But he's really jumped out on the ledge, and it seems to be working great for him. He did really well.
Yeah, the definitely has moved beyond the chick flick kind of attitude that he's had. He did one movie. I knew he always had this in him because he did a movie called Frailty a long time ago. He was like the main character, but the majority of the movie took place in the past. Telling the story of himself as a child, but the narration and stuff they did, very dark overtones and stuff.
Right.
I actually watched some of the behind the scenes footage, and he was actually reading for Woody Harrelson's part. He wanted was originally auditioning for that, but the more he read what Rust had to say, the more he wanted to play Rust.
No kidding.
So that's actually how he became Rust.
Wow. Okay, that's intriguing. I see. He does really well. Kind of a degraded version of himself as the show plays on, because the show actually takes place in 3 different
time periods.
Yeah, time periods.
Yeah.
Really. Yeah. So, and he does a really good version of kind of a worn down, older, almost a drunk version of himself.
He looked like shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, just calling it as it is. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. God, no, he looked bad. I really liked the way that they did the show in the 3 different segments. Like,
see, I didn't know how I felt about that in the 3 different time periods, all jumbled together, just bits and pieces shoved together. It's very intriguing, but it's not something that you see a whole lot of. So it's almost too much if you don't understand that right away, that it's at least in 3 different time periods, to kind of hopefully try and piece it together slowly. Yeah. You know what I mean? But if you try and understand why he looks nice and clean and slicked up, and then all of a sudden he's in a conference room being interrogated with, a couple cans of Lone Star in front of him. What the hell happened to you, Yeah. So.
Well, that's intriguing.
Absolutely.
What the hell happened to this guy?
Right.
I found it very tantalizing and titillating, because it's like they would kind of talk about something, like something that they're going to get to, and they're like, "Oh no, just keep going where you're at. We'll get to that later." And I'm like, "But I want to know about this fight that they've been talking about for like 4 episodes." And then wherever they finally stepped out of the conference room on, I think, the end of episode 6 or 7 or something like that. So exciting! Like, all right, we're finally all caught up. We're finally to where we can get some real resolution on the story. Obviously, there's something unfinished, or else they wouldn't be talking to these guys, And then walk out there and everything.
See, and there's a small. I was really interested, and there was no way I was going to quit watching at this after I had these couple thoughts. But knowing the fact that there was going to be a fight, I was thinking, well, shit gets real.
Yeah.
Real quick.
What could the fight be about?
What in the world? See, I didn't draw a conclusion as far as what it could it be about, but I knew it had something to do with what they were investigating.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and two, because they were here to tell about it, I knew they won, or at least survived the fight.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's kind of a letdown, even. You know what I mean, because that kind of marks off the writes off that possibility that some iconic key part of this a role in this story, he couldn't have died. You know what I mean? But at the same time, there are different time periods here, so you're not sure if the one that all of this conversation is happening in is the current one necessarily. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? It's way too early to really to draw those conclusions. But it was almost a letdown when I found that out. But man, it was so the way they play it out.
It was a good fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
You could totally tell. Matthew McConaughey was holding back, you know.
Yeah.
I felt that.
I think so too.
And then he gets mad and he starts fighting back and everything. And he's still held back because, I mean, he knew he did wrong.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. But, he needed
by the way, he has no stamina whatsoever, I have to say.
No.
Absolutely not.
I can't imagine he was known for
like
that.
7 seconds, you know. But, yeah. So, we... I haven't really talked about Woody Harrelson, like his acting.
Not really. No, Woody Harrelson he's actually kind of spread his wings a little bit for my I don't know my horizons, I guess. Yeah, for my full perspective of what sort of his acting can entail. But they've done really well, and as far as rapping, who all possibly could hate Cole. Or Rust, I mean.
Yeah. Well, Rust Cole.
Right. He does a really good job as far as keeping his distance and being, you know, the part of the majority that absolutely despises everything, you know, Cole has to stand for. Mm-hmm. And he does, but at the same time, you know, when the right time happens and the right time comes, he does a good job of becoming his friend and, you know, letting bygones be bygones and, you know, you know what I mean, and really becoming what partners are meant to be.
I was really surprised how well he could tolerate Rust. As much as, like, I'm imagining riding in the car all the time.
Hating on each other.
Yeah.
And not necessarily even Rust hating on Marty, but
Rust hates on everything.
Yeah, Rust hates on everything as a whole.
Yeah.
Like as the meaning of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And Marty, he hates on Rust as a person individually.
Yes.
And it's interesting.
Mm-hmm. See, I was trying to figure out if, like, Marty, he's supposed to be like a country person, like we're supposed to look at him, and then Rust is supposed to be like a city person. Like Russ is the embodiment of every city person, and they walk into the country. That's what they look, that's what they see. And then Marty, he's a country person, and he embodies everything that a country person would see whenever they look at someone from the city. You know what I mean? But huge extremes, by the way.
Right.
But,
see, well, okay. One thing that I wasn't totally certain about was why exactly do you jump into the show and instantly have to assume everybody hates Rust? And I don't know. And even throughout the episodes, they make it very clear that everybody hates Rust.
Yeah.
But is it just because he's weird? Is it because he's done something to outcast himself? Is it?
I think it's the way he acts. Just constantly acts that way.
With the mentality that mankind isn't even supposed to was a mistake, and you know, that whole speech. But I don't know. It's intriguing for sure, but it's hard to follow. But if you walk in and you just expect or accept how Rust really is, you can really enjoy the character. And I mean, oh man, just soak up what Matthew McConaughey has really done for it.
He did a good job. So were you able to guess who the killer was before they revealed it? The final killer. Wait, no. Before we talk about that, let's talk about episode 4.
Okay.
Whenever Rust goes back to his drug trafficking roots, calls in some of his contacts.
Oh wow!
And then goes into that ghetto.
That was intense.
I was on the edge of my seat the entire time.
That was intense. I literally chewed a hole through the bottom of my water bottle. Because,
really?
Yeah, I didn't know. I'm not sure I blinked the entire time.
What's gonna happen?
Yeah, I had no idea. It was interesting. But basically, let's like you say. I mean, we've established there's plenty of spoilers, so let's kind of walk through a little bit of what you thought was going to happen, or what you know what I mean, what you were anticipating.
Well, first of all, it kind of showed me that I did not have that show nailed down like I thought I did.
Right.
You know, they were still going to bring out surprises. I did not expect to be going through a Texas ghetto, shootout, with all the gangsters and everything,
right,
and all that. And I didn't expect bicycle gangs and all that. So I was just like, oh, how's he going to get out of this situation? And oh my God, when the cops are showing up and he's just like half a block away, just walking across the street with dragging his friend along.
Yeah, I thought that was. At the moment, I thought was, well, knowing that there was somebody that had just did the exact same thing right before them, mm-hmm. It kind of told me that there were more people in the area. This is ants scattering mm-hmm. through the neighborhood, and the cops focusing on the one or two houses right there close. Yeah. Anybody caught right there in a very close proximity was going to have some issues, but they did. I mean, you're 3 houses down or half a block away or whatever it is, and I had hopes that they were going to get spotted but yet still get away. Mm-hmm. But no, I mean they made a clean getaway. Sneaking through the bushes, crossing the street, and everything.
I thought it was hilarious that we're watching all this badass stuff go down. Yeah. And Russ is like, my dad got sick and I went to go see him up in Alaska.
Yeah.
That's what was going on. That's what happened.
Yeah.
And then also after they catch those 2 guys and Marty shoots one of them and then they shoot the other one and they have to cover it up. And they're
see, it blew my mind because there were that was a wicked twist to me. As far as the show as a whole went.
Really?
Absolutely. Because prior to that moment, they were in the interrogation room, in the present time interrogation room. They were talking about the big showdown, and oh my God, there was guns blazing and all. So, and I wasn't certain if that was the fight that they mm-hmm. talked about, or if that was that scene that they were talking about. But regardless, if they were talking about that scene, I'm thinking, shit just happened way too fast for that to be the scene. And then all of a sudden, oh my God, what are they going to do when it comes down to down the line, when they got so disgusted with the possibilities and what these people could have done and what they did, so they literally just gunned them down. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So, but like you say, I mean, it almost showed a little bit more of a darker side of Rust and Marty to be able to cover it up the way they did.
It showed a very dark side from Marty. That, first of all, where his priorities were.
Right.
Obviously, children and stuff like that.
Right.
That he just went in there and couldn't even stop himself. There's this justice
right. Oh, absolutely.
Right now.
Well, see, and I don't know if it was a darker side for Rust as well. Not quite, not near what Marty was feeling at the time. But
Rust seemed detached that entire time.
Oh, absolutely.
Just emotionless.
Absolutely. See, I'm trying to figure out if Rust had the feelings like in his head, like, okay, now it's fight or flight, so I need to cover this up. I need to be the good partner right now, mm-hmm. or we're going down for this and nothing's going to look good. So we need to give it everything we've got now to save our own freaking tails.
I was impressed. I was impressed. Like 15 years later, they were keeping their story straight.
Right.
So that was really good.
with very little even communication,
mm-hmm.
because there was what, 7 years? What was it? I can't remember the timeline now, but there was a good long period of time where they didn't even talk, and they still.
Yeah,
you remember
about 7 years?
I think it was 7 years. Well, 95 to 02.
95, 02, yeah.
And 02 is when it all happened. That 02 is also when they went back to their darker ways.
Yes. It's 95, 02, and then I think 2012 or 2013. I think it's 2012.
It is.
So they had like 10 years in there.
That's right.
They hadn't really spoken to each other.
And when basically everything got drugged back up, because there was literally no progress in the case. Things got drugged back up because it was a big case, and for whatever reason, Louisiana state they brought everything back up to reopen the case.
No, it was
which
Rust wouldn't leave it alone.
Which wasn't it because Rust went off and started. He drank some more. He went back to Alaska even.
Yeah, but that was after 2002.
Right. But why did in 2012 did they go back?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Okay, you're talking 2012.
Yeah, 2012.
It's because there's that other murder.
This is exactly tongue-tied. Yeah.
It's because of that other murder. Like they found another murder
that fit
the profile.
Yeah, that fit the profile. That's right. That reopened the case.
Which Rust had been there in the crowd.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
So.
Yeah, so there was basically another murder that fit the profile, which intrigued Rust. Rust went to basically investigate himself to go investigate what happened. But that's what basically piqued the interest of another set of detectives. But at this time, Marty or Rust, neither worked for the state patrol. Yeah, they went and basically they were doing their own thing for a while, and when this happened and they started getting investigated to figure out what had happened in 2002, was it 2002 or 95? 95.
They wanted to know everything.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the whole story. So yeah, basically they were being investigated, and after all that time, they, with no communication whatsoever, they stuck to their story, and I mean the bond and the friendship, as awkward and as weird as it is dysfunctional as it was. I mean, hats off to those guys.
Yeah, it was very good. Okay, so did you see? Were you able to guess who the killer was?
No, I wasn't.
I was so mad at myself.
Really?
Because I had already written it off as this is because of the way it went down with those other two guys. That they were just completely people we never would have guessed, we never saw or anything. It was just boom, that's them. Let's go get them. I'd kind of written it off that there's no way I'm going to be able to guess who it is based on people I've seen in the show so far. Right. So I'd given up on that, and then they see the lawnmower guy again, and they drive away, and you see the scars on their face, and you're like, fuck.
Yeah, right.
I should have figured that out.
And Rust was eating up himself that he had seen him before.
Yeah. Oh, I love that wherever, first of all, wherever Rust tells Marty that they need to, I'll buy you a beer. You know what? No.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you buy me a beer.
First of all, okay, I didn't find that very feasible that Russ still had a broken tailgate 10 years later, that he never fixed it because he was like carrying that grudge. Bullshit. He got pulled over.
And actually, it took me some
time. The cop
would
have made him do that.
Yeah. It took me a little bit to actually wrap my head around after he'd gotten back from Alaska that wasn't in 2002 or 95.
Mm-hmm.
Because he looked worse. He looked terrible. You know, I figured, well, that looks like people used to look in 95. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh, this is so confused because the timeline was way out of whack for me. Yeah. When I realized it started to straighten out, I mean, I was in awe of how things were lining up, you know, towards the end, at that point.
Yeah.
So,
but I like that his the way he convinced Marty to do it again or get back into the case was, we have unfinished business.
Right.
You know that. I know that. Right. That's why I'm doing all this. It needs to be finished, and it's on us to finish it.
Yeah, right.
Because they screwed it up by killing those guys instead of getting the information, find out who the third guy was.
Right.
So I like that.
Finding out who another guy was is probably a better way to say it.
Yeah. They probably could, they could have figured out more guys.
Yeah, well, absolutely.
Like that preacher or whatever. They found the tape, the very, very disturbing tape.
Oh man, I'd see. And what was on the tape was, they showed us a little bit of what was on the tape to, really
the rest let is in your
absorb.
Imagination.
Yeah, let us absorb how these men are feeling just by having to watch it. And
Marty's reaction.
Yeah. Oh man. Everyone that watched the tape was reaction.
See, why are you making me watch this?
I thought it was a bold move. Okay, here, I had a question before I get too carried away.
Yeah.
What were you thinking? What was your mind trying to drum up as far as the storyline when you first seen the very first murder? with the antlers and the girl basically praying, hunched over towards the big, I don't know what kind of tree it was, willow or something like that.
Big ass tree.
Yeah, but a tree. What was your thoughts with the tattoo and all that? I mean, at this point, they're still trying to start and kind of set the premise, of the story. But as far as what do we got here? What are we gonna have to deal with here? What's the threat?
Okay. Well, like it kind of reminded me of in Oklahoma, where I'm from, kind of the Osage Mountains. There's always like rumors that there's like kind of witchcrafty cult stuff going on. So it reminded me of that.
Oh, I see.
Like something that, I mean, Oklahoma's right next to Louisiana.
Right.
So not that far away. So that kind of stuff was already stuff that
I see.
Knew about, heard rumors of and stuff. Never murders, but they were like, people go out into the woods together and, light a big fire and wear, terrifying robes and do weird shit. So that's what it made me think of.
I see. So, and I was trying to figure out why they didn't, and maybe this is my watching too many crime dramas, but that really progress really quickly. But
I love that it's one case for the entire season.
Yeah, I love that too. The entire 8 episodes, and the fact that there was almost episode 2 that didn't have any evidence that was uncovered or
that was all characters.
It was all character development, and it was weird that you think you always have sergeant as far as a leading role in a police station, and you also always have the captain and whatever, but they had a major. They kept talking about major, and that's totally a 90s thing. Jesus, it's weird to know the number of characters that they had to really develop, because over the from 95 2002 to 2012, they had so many different cops and different things going in and out of that place. Mm-hmm. It was hard for me to really absorb or take in which characters to really pay attention to and which not. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because the major, back in 95, he was there for an episode and a half. Mm-hmm. And then you know what I mean? I'm
thinking, a new guy.
Okay, he's got literally no play in this. Do I have to pay attention? Maybe he's going to come back around and he's going to be tied to the killings because Marty or Rust had suggested that, oh man, that one investigative crew that came in that was interested in taking over a case. I'm thinking, Jesus, now the task force. Yeah. I'm thinking, Jesus, now we got to worry about the entire the entire police office there, the Louisiana State. They're gonna have. I don't know who to trust. I don't know.
Well, the preacher was cousins with the governor.
Right.
That's about as high as it goes in the state.
Absolutely. So I had no idea who to really absorb and who to trust and who not to. But like I say, I mean, they do a good job of keeping you progressed and really invested into certain characters and like I say, dropping off where it's necessary.
That final showdown. I love that when they get there and they have no cell service and everything. And
I'm glad they elaborated on that part.
Yeah, no cell service. And then
where Marty walks in the house, make the call. Make the call. This is the only way we're going to either one of us come out of here alive.
Yeah, I love that it was like Russ just knew. Everything he's looked at, everything, like he's built this entire psychological profile of what this guy is, who he is and everything. Like they're in the front yard and he's like, this is it.
We've literally just slammed the door, getting out, stepping out of the vehicle, and this is it. This is where we were meant to be. Yeah, that was amazing. And the very next part, where typical cliche, no cell service. Okay, I'm thinking, great. All right.
But it didn't feel like a cliche the way they handled it.
And even the cliche, no cell service. Okay, put it back in the cop. Marty handles himself really well, elaborating. Hey, ma'am, trying to connect with the characters that we're trying to invest in this last episode. Okay, ma'am.
Sister.
Is there any way the sister of all people? Oh, gross. Jesus, ma'am. Is there any way I can use your cell? And he called, what did he say? He lied and said they were surveyors or something like that.
Yep.
Yeah, surveyors. Okay, ma'am, we're surveyors. Can I use your phone? We don't have a phone. And Rust hollers, do it, make it, get in there, make it happen, search the house, boom, and it instantly, you know what I mean? He searches the house, finds the sister again, and elaborates even further on, I need your phone. Where in the is your phone? Give it here right now. I need to make the call. Yep. You know what I mean? And it was even further that, they didn't even tell you. They had no idea. We had no idea even for like another 30 minutes if he made the call or not.
The the villain, the main guy.
Yeah.
He was all over the place. Hillbilly accent to like British accent to just a regular intelligent accent.
I chalked that up for being deranged, being so messed up in the head that he doesn't even know who he himself is.
I wanted to know which one was the real him. Yeah, I didn't really think it was split personalities. I just wanted to know which one was him.
Break him down, and then you're gonna die right now. You better explain yourself, and then that shows a little bit more into
which voice he uses. Because it whenever he was using his intelligent voice, he was talking over the top of his sister and everything, and then like she couldn't understand what he was talking about, and then he was talking his hillbilly voice and everything.
Oh man,
I didn't know if he was so well disguised that he was actually smarter than everyone around him, and he embraced that camouflage.
I wanted to kind of believe that actually, and I mean, like you say, a little bummed, a little sad that they didn't elaborate on that a little more. But as far as the way it happened, the way it worked out, it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was probably a good solid, oh my God, I feel your pain. Oh my God, what are you gonna do? And they just locked the camera right on Rust and the villain. Just after he's been attacked initially, and there's I think there was
holding him up there by the knife.
Yeah, a week's worth of time went on. I think, and I'm just sitting there, Marty, where the fuck is Marty? And I'm trying to figure out where that what the hell's gonna happen, and they played it out really well.
It was great. I love the blood effects were really good.
Yeah,
like
the bruising effect. Oh,
yeah,
when he's in the hospital, that was amazing.
It was great.
And the timeline again, as a few days went on, the little less makeup, little less bruising, little less. You know what I mean? It worked out. Oh man, that was amazing.
That final fight was great. The stab, getting him all the way up in the air, and then headbutting him. Literally, like we saw later. Completely bruised his face.
And again, not even the cliche, typical. Oh God, I'm so weak, I drop you. No, he had to headbutt him and actually work for it. He's on the brink of totally just exhaustion. He's gone. This is the very last inch of his life, and he's gone. And he still has to muster up the momentum and the fight to live. And
then Marty shows up, puts 3 rounds in the guy, and the guy still throws his axe
the guy
at him.
Marches towards him.
Yeah,
got 3
He's a
rounds.
beast.
Yeah. He is.
He was absolutely not a cliche. Showed just how hard it is to kill somebody.
Yeah.
Which I always feel like they underplay in shows.
I think so.
Especially karate shows. What the? Oh, I'm knocked out.
Right.
But very satisfying. And then I was afraid they were going to end it there. And then they went to the hospital, and there's another spot where I was afraid they were going to end it there. But I felt they ended it perfectly with Marty and Rust having that final conversation.
Yeah.
And what a great conversation that was. That like the only optimistic thing that Russ says in the entire show just happens to be the last thing we hear him say. That whenever it all started, it was all darkness.
Mm-hmm.
And from my perspective, I'd say the light is winning.
Mm-hmm.
That's pretty optimistic.
Absolutely.
Especially after such a dark show. You're like, this stuff goes on all the time, and people don't even know about it.
Right.
It's hidden from us, and you just feel like you're part of this dark, disgusting world. And then Russ brings out this little ray of hope. And from the person you would not expect.
Yeah, absolutely. I expected Marty to, slap him up, with a little grin, but and it's some sort of a cliche quote or something. But no, Rust surprises me again. And to be honest with you, there was a time where Rust really had to shine for his internal character, had to show, had to just really come out for us to invest ourselves into his character. And he does that by like a speech of how he firmly believes, he just deep down believes that humanity as a whole is a mistake and we weren't meant to be here.
Mm-hmm.
And see, and like you said, I don't want to sound like I'm anywhere close to this, but there was part of what he was talking about that where as he started saying it and how he stated it, part of it I didn't even disagree with.
Mm-hmm.
But majority of it I'm thinking, no. Okay, Russ.
Took it too far.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, and then there was also that part that he said at the end where he was describing what it was like whenever he was in his coma.
Yeah.
However, that
wow,
he could feel his daughter
intense.
there.
That was intense. That actually gave me goosebumps when he could feel that I could still feel their love.
Yeah.
Me and my pops. I could still feel it.
Yeah, that was.
And
something.
Just as he's
especially
working
from
such
a pessimistic guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Doesn't believe in any kind of higher life.
Yeah, I think that was almost an iconic part for his role, just because he's been episode after episode after episode showing how deep, dark, and pessimistic he really is, and then he shows all of the genuine feelings and emotions that are all tied up and it's almost been backward. I mean, I consider myself optimistic with a bottle of pessimistic thoughts. Well, his is almost backwards.
Yeah.
You've finally uncorked that bottle of optimism,
Yeah, exactly.
So
very satisfying.
Absolutely.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. They're already going to make a second season.
Okay.
Yeah,
Are they signed and?
Yep.
Okay. Great.
The only thing I didn't look to find out is if it's going to be Rust and Marty again. I could see they could almost do like new, high level actors every time, but then it would also be hit and miss. But there's also they left a huge time frame in there. I mean, there's 15 years to work with for another case, but then you also think, if this is the case of a lifetime, how could they not have spoken about these other cases?
Right.
However, the writer did say he felt like there's a 3-season maximum for this show before it becomes
dragging on.
Yeah. Which is good. I like someone putting limits on there.
I agree. It gives me a higher level of respect.
Let's not milk this for everything it's worth.
Absolutely.
So